Hey, what's up, you guys? Welcome to the Q review for Pitbabe Season 1. Little disclaimer. If you guys are seeing this on YouTube and you're wondering, hey, where are the rest of the Pitbabe episodes? Why are we doing the review before the rest of the Pitbabe episodes? It's because Patreon is ahead of y'all. So on Patreon, when this comes out, all of the episodes have been released for Patreon viewers, and it's probably not all the way released for YouTube yet, but it's up there and it's coming. But we just finished episode 13 of Pitbabe, so we've wrapped up season 1. There's a lot, I feel like, in this show to talk about, and there's also a lot to not talk about because we kind of yap for 20 minutes after every single episode anyway.
Yeah.
So it's just like, but I do have all of the characters listed out. So we have North Sonic, we have Pete, we have Kenta, we have Kim, we have Wei, we have Charlie and Babe, we have Tony, we have Babe's dad, we have Alan and Jeff, we have Winter, and we have Dean. I don't think I forgot anyone. If I did, that's so bad. Then, of course, there's, like, major plots. I guess we could do what we did last time of, like, favorite and least favorite plot. But, yeah, I'll just start in the way that I wrote them. North and Sonic. Well, actually, for those who, I don't know why, but there is a chance there's someone who's listening to the podcast or watching the podcast who doesn't know what Pitbabe is. Ollejib, would you like to give a summary of what Pitbabe is?
So we have racing meets super. We have racing meets super secret trafficking of people with abilities, and one trying to get one of the escapees back.
It's a great Ollejib summary. So yeah, guys, Pitbabe is about a racer named Pitbabe. He goes by Babe with everyone else, who is the son of a really rich dude named Tony, who has an orphanage that he kind of uses as a front for something else. It is revealed that all of his kids have, pretty sure he only has sons, so that's an interesting fact. But all of his sons have some sort of special ability. At first, they don't tell us who is Tony's son. That's kind of kept under wraps. We assumed kind of very early on that anyone that has an ability is probably one of Tony's sons, just because that's how it works. But he is basically using the orphanage as a front for his human trafficking ring for people who have special abilities. And it's also a Megaverse show. So there are alphas and enigmas, and I'm not sure if there's omegas because they did not necessarily point that out. But if there's alphas and enigmas, there has to be omegas. I'm just not sure if there's any omegas confirmed in the cast. But realistically, if anyone was going to be an Omega, it would be Sonic and Jeff.
Yeah.
Because my baby Sonic. Anyways, I'm not going to talk about that, though. But, yeah, so with that summary being said, let's talk about North and Sonic's relationship. You want to go first?
So, North and Sonic, essentially they were on, of course, the Team Hunter X, the good guys, and they seem to be just kind of like the media crew. Like, they would post about stuff, be on the racetrack, posting videos of Pitbabe and all the other racers. Were they really mechanics for real? I feel like they helped, but I don't know if they, like, worked on the cars.
I'm not sure. I don't think so. I don't think they did anything with racing or the cars, to be honest.
I feel like really to put a label on them as kind of like the lovable idiots of the crew.
Yeah.
Like they were essentially the comedy relief to all the serious stuff that has happened. Like they were kind of just like the breath of fresh air because they would like make you laugh or like have some crazy antics or just annoy the other characters. Which I feel like I feel like I feel like it was needed. It was definitely like they're not out of place in the story. They're pretty good. They're pretty good characters. They're nice like side characters. There's like some hint of like I don't know if they're still trying to figure each other out if they like each other or not. Kind of like they're like real close. They pretty much did everything together. Like you saw Sonic.
Yeah.
And, like,
I don't think they have a single scene where they're not together.
Honestly. So it was just kind of like, are they together? Or are they together? Because they never really talked about it. They're kind of like, what was it, that one episode where they were just kind of like, do I like you? I was like,
it was like if we were any closer, we would be dating or something like that. And
yeah.
I was like, oh,
you're just gonna tease
so funny.
Nothing was ever nothing was ever confirmed.
And then Winter was like, do you love each other? And they just kind of stared at him.
Right.
Like, okay.
Like everybody's kind of aware that like there's something up with y'all, but except for them.
Except for them. So that's nice.
But they're
and I don't know who's more delusional. I don't know, like one of y'all is like avoiding the situation more than the other.
Yeah.
And I don't know who, but it's one of you. Maybe North. North seems a little bit more oblivious than Sonic is.
Yeah. Definitely. It also does feel like something maybe is weird. Other than just like la 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 la
la la la la la. Delicioso.
Right. They're not thinking about it at all. The funniest scene with them was just that on that last episode where just like they're trying to upload the video and then Winter's poking him with the gun. He's like, man, no. Like, and he just does it again. No, stop it. Until he finally looks. He's like, ow. Like, what are you talking about? Ow. That was probably the funniest scene with them, in my opinion. I feel like they were nice, like, comedic relief for the story. They were pretty good. I love them. They were cool. I had no issues with them compared to some of the others.
Right. I think, like, North and Sonic definitely made me laugh as much as they annoyed me. Because they had me stressed. Every time they would go on a mission, I was just like, yo, why did y'all send these two? Anytime, especially when they would go on a mission alone, I'd be like, yo, why did you send these two? Like, when they went to try to, like, save Kim, I was like, this is a mess. And, like, I was so nervous. Like, when they were uploading the videos, I was like, they're gonna get caught. There's no way that these two are alone uploading this video and nothing happens. And I was right. But luckily, they have plot armor, and Winter could have, like, sniped both of them, not even, like, talked to them at all. But he has a big ego, so that explains why he's like, ho ho, look guys, I caught you. So that's probably, like, what saved them, to be honest. It's just Winter is an idiot. But yeah, if we watch season 2 and those two do not end up together after a whole season of y'all teasing me, I'm going to Thailand. And I'm talking to the writer.
Watch them not even like have developed as like relationship wise over the year. Like maybe some time skip and it turns out they were just never together at all.
I'm suing. Literally. I'm gonna write a report. But yeah, my favorite scene with those two is probably also kind of similar. Like when they started beating up Winter with Kim, I was like impressed. Because up until that point, I was like, they're not really meant for this life. Like they don't know what they're doing.
Beat him up like bad.
They beat him up. I expected that out of Kim, but North and Sonic just don't give violence. So the fact that they actually beat him up, I was like, wow.
Right.
I was like, you know what? I take back what I said. Because at first I was like, they don't need to be here. And then I was like, well, never mind. I didn't know you had it in you, but you had it in you, so I'm proud of you now.
Right.
But yeah. Let's talk about Pete. I feel like so Pete gets introduced by shooting an arrow, and I don't think we do. He can read minds. Mm-hmm. That's his special ability. He can read minds. He's an enigma. His power didn't really matter for what happened in the plot.
Yeah.
So maybe it'll matter more in season 2, but for this one, it didn't really matter other than the fact that he liked Wei and maybe he read his mind and saw something I didn't, because we all know how I feel about Wei. But, yeah, he was a character that did a lot and nothing at all. He's very similar for people who have watched. I hate that I keep comparing this show to Ken Porsche, but there's genuinely, like, up until this point, there's not another, like, high action, kind of serious BL that I've watched other than Ken Porsche. He's very similar to Kim from Ken Porsche, where Kim was investigating and knew something was up with, like, their families and was trying to figure out, like, what was going on the entire show. All for, like, at the end of the show to not have really contributed much. Like, that's kind of, like, what Pete gives me. It's like he had a lot of insight because he kind of was, like, being a mole and, like, pretending like he was, like, cool with buying the kids and stuff like that just to, like, eventually take Tony down. But I feel like if you removed his character from the plot, the exact same outcome would have happened.
Yeah. I feel like Wei might have been a little more unhinged. And, well, I mean, Pete was kind of the reason why Wei was able to get back to working with the group.
Yeah.
Because, like, if Pete didn't go with Wei, Babe would have been like, no, get out of here. I'm not talking to you. And that would have been like, Wei would not be.
So Wei would be alive.
He shouldn't be dead, in my opinion, but that's not here nor there. So it's like Pete. I mean, I feel like Pete was used as much. I feel like as Pete wasn't with the main group, and he was kind of like in the middle of everything. He was just kind of in the middle. The whole ex-Hunter, Babe, Tony. He was in the middle of it all. So he didn't really. His role didn't require him to be a major. So I feel like his character served his purpose. I do feel like the way that season 1 ended, and now knowing he does probably have a chance to be utilized more, because he's kind of outs himself as, oh, I'm not working Team Hunter X, and even if he's not with them, he's going to be like a pretty good ally. So stay a mediator for future like conflict, or he's with them. I feel like he served his purpose. I do feel like he fumbled in that last scene once again, like that last like final gunfight with all them and Tony. That heavy, extremely heavy. And I think wasn't that whole thing to like go in, bid his plan too?
Yeah,
that was
I think so.
That was a horrible plan. Really, really bad. Or maybe the plan itself wasn't horrible. He just had no. I guess he didn't have a plan for the plan. It seemed like, because things went south and he just kind of just went with the flow. And for someone who knows how, like, Tony and his group operates, you would think that he would be a little more prepared or knowing that some stuff would happen. But he was just like, nope, going in. If we live, we live. If we die, we die. That's what it seemed. That's what his plan kind of boiled down to sometimes. But, I mean, he served his purpose. He was good. I feel like him being an enigma was kind of like, I don't know how that's if that will be utilized, because it wasn't really. The only thing that threw people off about him being an enigma was like, oh, this is the enigma, not Way. And it was like, what? That was really the only purpose of him being an enigma so far. That was just kind of there. But outside of that, yeah, I mean, I liked him as a character. He was pretty good.
Yeah. He's a very, like, linear character. Yeah. I don't really have to question him. I'm not suspicious of him. I'm not, like he had one goal the entire time.
Yeah.
And was like, okay. The only thing about him that confused me, I was like, why do you like Way? That came out of, like, did you know Way before you saw him that one time when you were like, hello? Or was that the first time you saw him and you had a freaking Hotel Transylvania zing moment and just fell for him in that like aspect. So like that confused me, especially considering Way gave two shits about you, and then Kenta liked Pete. Yeah. So I was like, what is this love square they all got going on where Kenta likes Pete likes Way likes Babe likes Charlie? Like, if you put it that way, it gets messy.
Yep.
Like, bro, wrong show. Only Friends filmed last year.
Oh my gosh. Let me have another one coming.
I can't wait for that.
Oh, brother.
You can't see me, but I did a little shimmy.
I'm gonna be scary.
I'm gonna be like, you have to come over. I have to see your face. So sorry. But yeah. So next up, let's go Kenta. I started with. Did I start with Pete? I think I did. So I think you can do Kenta first.
Okay, so Kenta. He is a character that. How do I put this? He made sense, but at the same time made no sense with a lot of his decisions. Like, from the beginning, he was established as the right-hand man of Tony, quote-unquote, right-hand man. He did all his stuff, and it was like, that'd be one thing. Like, served as that, cool. But it was very obvious from, like, ever since the first time he, like, reported to Tony and like, sorry, we didn't do that, and he threw a drink in his face. And that's where it was kind of like, okay, so we see what type of relationship this is already. Like, we knew, like, okay, I feel like it was only a matter of time before Kenta was, you know what, I'm done, I'm not gonna work for Tony, and I'm going to, like, betray him. My beef, it took way too long to get there. And when it did get there, I mean, honestly, I didn't even know it was going to happen. As in, like, I didn't know it was going to happen at that moment, because it just happened. Because this dude, Tony, has been beating on this man, throwing drinks at him, like, verbally abusing him, and has been doing that even when he was younger. And bro, it just never clicked to him. Come on, he was the only, like, that's great, sweetie, but, like, he's beating on you, and you have powers. I don't know what was it. Was his powers ever, like, established? I forget.
I don't even know if he has powers, because I don't think they told us.
Yeah.
Like, obviously he's kept around for some reason, but I don't, like, maybe he's just really good at being a henchman.
And maybe it might be a Keen situation where he just wasn't enough, and they just made him into a henchman just because he wasn't good enough to actually like be somebody with powers out in the field. He wasn't a good racer either, probably. I don't know, but it took him way too long to finally get to that moment of like, yo, I'm not gonna mess with him, because he literally had so many reasons. He had a reason, like every episode he was giving him a reason, damn near. He just would not do it. Like even even with the flashback, like it was clear that there was some type of feelings that he had with Pete when they were younger. And even the man that you was like crushing on was literally telling to your face like, yo, stop working with this man. He does not care about you. He is literally beating you. He wouldn't care if you drop dead. He would just replace you. He was like, it's all I have. So he was kind of like, he was very annoying to like deal with, because it was like, he's a bad guy, so it's like, oh man, he's bad. But then at the same time, it's like, bro, we know you're not gonna work with him by the end of this. So when he finally did, like, go up and stab Tony at the end, I was just kind of like, I wasn't surprised. I was just like, finally.
Yeah, that's the perfect way to describe it. I think it's great that he was the one that kind of took Tony out, even though if y'all watched episode 13 already with us, y'all know I don't think that man's dead. But I think it's very interesting because he definitely had the stronger case of Stockholm Syndrome. Everyone else kind of like managed to like get away and had a negative feeling towards Tony and was like, yeah, we don't want to be like his minion. We don't want to work with Tony. We don't want to give him what he wants. Like we're trying to figure out a way to escape Tony. And he was still kind of like, no matter what, I'm going to be loyal. And I think it's because that's all he knew. Like that's all he knew. Like if you think about it, everyone else had some sort of support system. And he kind of was just isolated, which all of them at one point had been isolated, but he also doesn't have an ability. So he wasn't like going out into the real world to do anything. He just was always just like around Tony. So I feel like that might have played a part into it maybe, but I'm glad that he did eventually be like, yo, like, nah, because, if it would have ended with Kenta still being loyal but not loyal, because he was helping us out. Like, he freed Jeff that one time. He gave the flash drive to them. Like, he was loyal and not at the same time. Like, it was just off. He was conflicted, but, like, he just could never, like... It was like he would get there. It was like you're getting there. It was like when you're like... It's like those videos where it's like... So, here's how you say apple. Apple, apple, cranberry. Like that's how it was with him. To me, like he would get there, he would have the signs, and then just be like, "No, I still want to work with Tony." Even when, like, I'm not gonna lie, call me what you want, but if the guy, if the person I like is telling me like, yo, this dude is crazy and he's like beating on you, and like he has, and like I'm running. And maybe you could, I feel like one could potentially blame Pete because he did kind of leave him, but at the same time he did also choose to stay. But he was, him as a character, he was just very frustrating as a character because it was like, bro, I know you're going to leave. Just do it already. And you better not double back in season 2, Kenta, or I'm literally like, I'm putting you on the watch list. You're going to sit right beside Wei, who I kind of need to put a little dead skull emoji on. But I don't even think Wei can be on my on-site list anymore because he's dead. Like, I feel like I have to put an X across him, like a freaking hit list. Like, okay, well, he's taken care of. I don't know. But with Kenta, I think he has a lot of potential and he had a lot of character development. And I'm glad that he was confusing, because it's nice when you don't know what the characters are going to do. Like Kenta, Babe, and Winter were all kind of wild cards. Where it's like, I have no clue what you're about to do. I just know you're going to do something stupid. So it's nice because it's like, then you have characters that are realistic and not predictable. You don't want everyone to be predictable.
Yeah.
Like North and Sonic, they're predictable. I can assume what you're gonna do in a situation. I was wrong that last time because y'all knocked the flip out of Winter, but you know, it's okay.
Yeah. Like, I'm surprised Winter is alive because they really beat him close to death.
If he's alive. I think he's alive, but that man got messed up. He might have a concussion.
Oh yeah, he's hurt some way.
Mm-hmm.
Dead.
I don't think he's dead.
Yeah.
Next up is Kimmy. So Kim is introduced as a racer from Korea, and he did not want any of this drama. He came into the red team. He just wanted to beat Babe. That was his one thing. And I liked him from the start because he was calling Winter out. He was talking to Tony and was like, this is messed up. Like he always like showed his colors of like, he just wanted to race and everyone else was messing it up.
Mm-hmm.
And so when he got like, when he kind of like realized what like Tony was doing was like literally like hurting Babe, he kind of like, that kind of was like, okay, now you're too involved. And then Tony just locked him away, which I was worried. I thought that man was about to die. Because as we've seen, Tony is okay with killing people. So I was like, I was surprised that he was okay. So I was worried about that. Also, if we want to talk about couples, since we're just finishing talking about Kenta, Kim and Kenta are together in the intro. And as we've seen with 90% of the cast, the people that are together in the intro are interested in each other or a couple. We didn't get any of that from season 1.
Nope.
I don't know if they're going to be a thing in season 2. I don't know how it would make sense is the biggest thing.
I mean,
like, Kenta held a gun to this man. Like, actually, not a gun. He held a knife to this man's throat. They haven't really interacted other than that.
Yeah. Didn't Kenta, like, wasn't he involved in Kim being able to escape? I thought like he told him or something, like told him where he was or something like that.
I'm not remembering. But Kim was very useful for how much of an outlier he was. Like, he was, like, if we're talking about, like, Kenta is an outsider and not involved in the group or whatever, Kim is really he's not even from the same country.
Right.
He came in and just got involved. And honestly, I don't see him staying with the X-Hunters that long, because the only way I think he would stay is if he, like, can't beat Babe.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I feel like the second he beats Babe, he'd be like, well, my aspirations are complete. Goodbye.
Yeah. Because this isn't really about racing, I'm not gonna lie.
This show is the least about racing.
I feel like
it's like saying Stranger Things is about egos.
But no, it is not about egos.
It's just like, it's just there. It's mentioned a lot, but like, that's it.
Mm-hmm. I know. I feel like Kim was also he was a device to progress the plot, but it wasn't an ozone freaking plot development device. So way better, in fact.
Yeah, I don't think they didn't do a bad job with any of the characters.
Yeah.
There just were definitely characters that didn't do as much as like others, which is not a bad thing.
Yeah. Because Kim was used to progress the plot. because that brought the group, or that had to bring the group over to Tony's place to where they discovered more things and get a handle of how to solve the problem at the end.
Yeah, and he can fight, and you need someone who can fight on your team because he saved North and Sonic. North and Sonic were cooked. They were cooked. They were about to be sautéed by Chef Winter, and he came in there like Hell's Kitchen. No,
right.
And I was like, okay, we're good now. So he's definitely useful. He's definitely useful.
Oh yeah.
Now we have to talk about. You're gonna have to start this one because I have some words.
Oh boy.
I feel like you know who I'm about to bring up. Baby boy, Way.
Yeah.
Yeah, you start. We know what's gonna happen when I start.
I feel like, in terms of the good, I feel like Way is one of, if not the most complete character in the series. Like, he had the whole character arc. Like, Babe ran away, and then he met Way, and they had like the whole friendship. They had they were together for years. Like, they've raced together. I'm pretty sure like Way was like a pretty good developmental factor as to why Babe even liked racing in the first place. So you can arguably say that without Way, half of the plot wouldn't even be there. He had the whole character arc where it was like, okay, I'm his friend, I trust him. Kind of the unrequited love type of thing was also that was the character arc. The character arc where he was conflicted because it turned out that he was actually with Tony and was an enigma, and then did something that was very bad action within the middle part of the show, only to like regret his actions. Not that he didn't regret them already, but to like basically try to become a better person and fight back against his oppressor being Tony, to finally put an end to what he was doing, even if that was at the cost of his life. Like, that's a full and complete character arc throughout the course of the 13 episodes for Way. And I feel like every character's story arc, like nobody had a bad story arc, in my opinion, in the show. But I feel like Wade's was the most complete, like, and fully fleshed out compared to everybody else. Even Babe and Charlie, well, definitely Charlie. Charlie's still kind of an unknown, but Way had the most complete story arc. And I feel like that's one of the good things to say about him as a character. Now, him being like, if you've seen the episode, I was talking all this about, he should not have died. Like, him dying was kind of like something that could have been completely avoided because the circumstance of like them being like having the upper hand against Tony, yet somehow just being like, Babe, look out, and then getting shot. I was kind of like, that was, I didn't agree with that choice. But then again, like I said, it goes into his story arc of how he, at the end of the day, he was just, in a way atoning for what he's done. He got done dirty a couple times in the beginning, like that's Babe out, and then Babe didn't show up. That wasn't, that sucked for him. And then of course getting not saying that Babe should have said that he loved him, but then like getting forever like friend zone in his last bits of life. He probably just shouldn't have asked that question. But outside of that whole thing where he was like trying to take over Babe, and the fact that he was trying to have like a kid with him, that was really messed up. But looking out of that and looking at his story from a whole, he was a very complete character. So, like him or hate him, you can't say that he wasn't.
Everybody.
Yep. So
Way is the first character on my on-site list for 2025. I put him on there after the infamous episode, I think it was 9, after the infamous episode 9. And I have 3 opinions on him. All completely different opinions. So I'm going to start in chronological order. There's the opinion before episode 9. Then there's the opinion after episode 9. And then there's the opinion after episode 13. Completely different opinions. So before episode 9, I was very suspicious of him as a character, because when you have a show that is romantic and you have a character that is obviously not going to end up with the character that they like, there's only 2 options. And sometimes and sometimes both of the options happen. But one option is a third party enters and he starts like going for the third party, right? Which we kind of saw with Pete. Like when Pete kind of arrived, I was like, maybe they'll start liking each other and he'll like leave Babe alone.
Yeah.
Then the second option, they become the worst, most insufferable character ever because they can't accept rejection and they just start messing everything up. And both happened. Both happened with this. So it like I would have said, like I said in episode 13, if he would have even if he would have been a manipulating piece of shit, if he didn't do what he did in episode 9, I would have forgave him a little bit faster. I think from this standpoint, there's a part of me, which is after episode 9, I was like, I don't care what this man does. I'm never going to forgive him. He's the worst character ever. Like, I was pissed, right? I was just riding off that, like, episode 9 fury. I feel like I was more upset than Babe was. And I was like, fuck no. Every single time he popped up on my screen, I was like, no. And then I was trying to understand. I was like, Pete, why do you like this man? Because you can read minds. I don't like, apparently he can control it. And he doesn't always like read their minds. But I'm still just like, no, I don't understand it. I don't understand the concept of why you thought forcing the love of your life, supposedly, to have kids with you, to then sell the kids for Tony would give you any sort of honeymoon happy life. Like, I just didn't understand his thought process. But then, like, after the fact, like, all of them forgave him. They were very, like, mournful when he died, and they had a funeral for him. Everyone was crying. And I think it's, like, what I said in episode 13 as well, just to repeat myself. It's a situation where a person has done bad things, but you can still mourn the person that you knew and mourn the person that they were. Like, I think it's very valid for them to be upset, especially when, like, Alan was like, you know, like, he's been with us for 10 years. Like, they knew him for an extremely long period of time. And at the end, like, he was helping them. And he was kind of, like, I guess, regretful for what he did. But it's just, from an outside standpoint, as someone who only knows him as Way, the Pitbabe character, I was just like, no. I can't do it. So that's why when he died, I was very neutral. It didn't make me sad. It didn't make me happy, but it didn't make me sad. I was just kind of like, well, that's the thing that happened. So I will say they managed to make me hate him less, which is very impressive. I was very certain that I was just gonna be like, hell no to that man for the rest of my life. But, you know, they made me hate him less. And Babe did do him dirty in the beginning.
Yeah.
Continuously. But I also think he was manipulating Babe even in the beginning with like how Babe was responding. He would like touch him and all of a sudden Babe had a different opinion on life. And it's just like, bruh. Yeah. So that's how I feel about him. I think that's the nicest I've ever been to Way.
It sure is.
Yep. Y'all don't want to hear what I had to say about that man after episode 9. I was pissed. I lost my voice that day. So if you haven't seen episode 9 yet, I would recommend go watch it so you can see me lose my voice in real time. And if you see the unedited version, it's even worse. Get the whole rant. That was the most... Yeah, if we want to talk about uncomfortable scenes in this show, that was the most uncomfortable thing to watch.
Yeah, for sure.
That was the worst. That was very well executed by the actors and the plot and stuff. But in terms of watching it, that was the hardest thing to watch in the show. So, yeah. Moving on. I'll start since you started with Wei. We have Charlie. Charlie is a very confusing character because he has a backstory, but it doesn't feel like he does. It kind of feels like he popped out of nowhere to take care of Babe. We learned that, like, he's been watching Babe for a while. He's kind of a stalker. And that he is trying to protect Babe from Tony's plans. Somewhere in that mix, he falls in love with Babe. And then, you know, the rest is history. The thing about that is Charlie and Jeff kind of materialize out of thin air. Like, they were raised together, but they weren't raised with, like, Babe, Kenta, Pete. Like, they weren't raised with anyone else. So not only did they not really have that background, they somehow figured out Tony's plans completely on their own. And it's probably because Jeff has, like, his power where he can see into the future. But it also... It does make sense why everyone was suspicious about him. Because he, like, to ex-Hunter, he materialized out of nowhere. He literally followed Babe into the locker rooms and had sex with this man, and all of a sudden, Babe is locked in with Charlie. Like, I would be concerned too. I'd be like, this random dude, you slept with him, and all of a sudden, you guys are like Fiona and Shrek, just locked in. and like, you don't know this man. You know what I mean? Like, it's just like, he does just materialize. And even, like, he's a very, like, he's just like Pete. We know his goal. We know his, like, thought process. But he also is kind of like Babe, where we don't know what he's gonna do. Because that whole, let's fake our death situation to try to get out of Tony was for nothing.
Yeah.
Because he looked at the camera and figured out, or actually it was Winter. Like, Winter fought Babe or something and was like, yeah, his ability's back. And the whole plan just fell out because of that. Because of two sentences.
Yep.
So, Charlie, though, I love Charlie. He definitely sacrificed. Like, if we want to play, like, who sacrificed the most, it would be really hard to figure out if Charlie or Babe suffered more. Because it's almost like they're equal. Or, like, they suffered in different ways. Babe was suffering, other than what Wade did to him, Babe was suffering emotionally this entire freaking, like, show. I feel like Charlie was suffering, like, physically. Like, he kept going through it physically.
Yep.
So it's like, if you combine them, we get the freaking biggest pool of despair ever, that we would summon Junko. Like, that's how bad it was. So, I don't know. I have a lot of respect for Charlie because he put up with a lot of stuff that I would have gave up. I would have been like, you know what? Go ahead and fall into the Enigma's hands. I don't care.
Honestly.
So, yeah.
See, I believe, I mean, same thing. Charlie and Jeff were just like, Oh man, we're this nice little world. Pitbabe, best racer. I'm Pitbabe. I'm the best racer in the world. Um, I need to do a little hanky panky. Get my senses up a fly. Yeah. And then Charlie's like, "Hey, hey, can I be your boyfriend? I'm Pitbabe. I never have a boyfriend. Well, I'm gonna follow you, and I'm gonna make you obsessed with what I got. Police? Literally how that should have went.
Literally. That's how you know, like, Babe is kind of freaky. Because he got stalked, he got followed, and then his immediate reaction was, I know what you can provide for me. Sex.
Right.
Like, okay. And I don't know if it's ever told to us about why like he doesn't get turned off by him. Like his senses don't get overloaded with Charlie, like unless they're just that compatible. But
yeah,
Charlie's like the only person that Babe can stand his smell. That gives soulmates. And if we lived in a world where they mated actually like the Omegaverse had, there would be a bite mark in that man's neck in like 2 seconds because of how impulsive Babe is. So glad we don't live in that universe. Also, y'all, I changed my mic out. It was not on the right mic, so I have no clue what I sounded like for the first half of this episode. Woo! Big summer blowout. But yeah, I respect Charlie. I think he's a complex character. He's hard to understand. Because it kind of feels like Kenta and Tony. Where it's like, why are you so loyal and like hell bent on this?
Because
like, because it's not like before he wasn't always in love with Babe. It's like,
yeah,
how, like what, like why? You know?
Yeah, and he technically could have worked with somebody else to take down Tony.
Yeah, he didn't have to have a relationship with Babe.
Right. I mean, he could have worked with. I mean, he low-key could have worked with Pete. I mean, yeah, he I mean, there wasn't any other characters with powers like outside of like Pete, Kenta, and Babe, but there wasn't any. He didn't have to work with Babe to get to his goal.
Yeah.
So it's like maybe there will be some type of a little more explanation in the next season. I doubt it, honestly.
Probably not.
Because it seems like
it's a Pete and Way situation. That man saw him and said, "Yup, my man.
Yeah.
Come here." That's what happened. I was there.
Oh, you were.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, I'm gonna leave Babe for a little bit. Let's talk about my favorite character, Winner.
Oh.
What's his deal, bro? Like
he's just he was a guy who was made bad just to be bad.
He literally has no motive. He has
exactly.
reason to be acting that way. Except money and like his ego.
Like he has no powers. He has nothing. He is a bad guy who's bad for the sake of being bad. I feel like there's not much to say about his character.
There's not, except he's annoying.
Yeah.
He's annoying till the end. And then he got caught by Kim, North, and Sonic and gave them finger hearts. This is not a K-pop photo shoot. What are you about to do with some finger hearts? You really go... love me. Like he tried to what is it called? Like Aigu or something like Aegyo. He tried to Aegyo out of the situation. He tried to act all cute, like the people that you haven't been pointing a gun at in 3 separate scenarios aren't going to just like, oh yeah, we love you and walk away. Winner. Like, and his name is Winner.
Right. He's just a constant antagonist throughout the whole story. And just so it didn't, he was there so the story didn't get boring because it took a lot of development between Tony, but like you needed something in the middle and he was at something in the
I feel like if he survived, because I think he's not dead. I doubt it. I think if he was dead, they would make it more obvious he was dead. I think if he does survive, he's going to be an issue in season 2.
Yeah, but I feel like his role would stay the same. I don't think he would become any more prominent of a villain than he is now.
He's like a follower, so it's giving Tony and Winter our issues in season 2. And if Tony is actually dead, then I apologize. I just don't believe it. Me personally, I really doubt it. Mm-hmm. But if he is dead, then so far Winter is the biggest threat then, if Tony's gone.
Yeah, which, I mean, isn't saying much, I feel.
It's not. Then we have another character that kind of also disappeared off our radar, which is Dean.
He was another character. I feel like he was also the same as Winter, really, but he was just on Team Hunter X to start off.
Yeah. And he didn't, his whole thing, I guess, at least he had a motive. His whole issue was his ego. He also was a very high ego character. His whole issue was he didn't like the fact that he wasn't given the same opportunities as Babe. But my whole thing is he wasn't as good as Babe and he wasn't as good as Wei. So it was kind of like, yeah, duh.
Here's my hot take.
It would be different if you were good.
My hot take on Dean is that, honestly, I feel like he is low-key a parallel of Kim. Though both Kim and Dean, they were there to race, but they just happened to be on the wrong team and got involved with all the drama. So it became less about racing to them. Like, we have Kim, who just wanted to race against Pitbabe and win. Join the team. It seems to be the only team that races against Team Hunter X anyway. Strange. But races with the red team so he could beat Babe, only to find out that this is an evil organization that's trying to capture him. And he's like, nah, I don't mess with that. And they put him in a cell. Then you have Dean, who, at least as of it didn't really go into detail why he started racing, but he liked racing. He wanted to race, and he wanted to compete in order to get to be in that spot for racing. And then he's trying his hardest. He thinks he finally can have a chance, but then this boy Charlie comes in, who was just literally at from the beginning at the first encounter with Charlie. He was basically Babe's just fuck buddy. And all of a sudden, he could just come in, race with his cars, and be in the race because he has the privilege just of being close with Babe. And then he just took it a more negative route and was just very upset about it, ended up leaving.
And attempting to kill Babe.
You said what?
He attempted to kill Babe.
Yeah.
I feel like that parallel is actually very accurate. I hadn't thought about that. If you think about it, it's like Kim is good and Dean is bad. Like they had the same scenario where they both were there kind of just for racing. They wanted to prove themselves. Mm-hmm. But Kim was like, no, I'm not doing any of that. Like, you guys are doing bad stuff. You need to stop. And Dean was like, if it gets me to where I need to be, I'll do it.
Right. But all in all, they both really just wanted to race, but they were in the wrong show on the wrong teams because it was not all about racing.
No, I think we had like the further we got into the show, the less we saw that racetrack.
Honestly.
That racetrack disappeared, y'all. I don't even know what the racetrack looks like anymore. Oh my god. Okay. I'm saving the big bad wolf for last. So let's talk about Alan and Jeff. Which is my favorite couple. Everybody gotta know that.
It's a side couple. Every side couple.
Shut up.
Be. I mean, is it wrong though?
It's not, but shut up. Adele and Style are not a side couple. It's a show with two main couples. Thank you very much.
I suppose, but it could be argued that people are there for Calton.
I will bite you.
For first game.
Anyways.
Now, Alan and Jeff was a very interesting dynamic because it was another thing where it was like, I feel like Charlie was one thing, but Jeff was like, well, actually, not really, because Jeff wasn't introduced by Charlie. Jeff went there to apply and be a mechanic.
He did that on his own. Charlie didn't even know he was going to do that. He was like, what are you doing?
Yeah. So, it was like, Jeff's entrance was pretty good. I mean, I feel like that whole, like, where they were like, oh, we don't trust him, was really, like, weird. Well, it wasn't weird that they didn't trust him, but he literally had no reason. He had no evidence against him outside of him just being new.
Yeah. And I'm glad that he left and made Alan kind of fight for him back, because I would have been even pettier. Like, you like me and you didn't take my side? All right.
Right. And then when he did, he's like, well, you were looking kind of suspicious. So you're not helping. You're literally just you're proving my point, so you still do not believe me, technically.
Throw him out. Like, I loved like the dynamic of, like, I love when a character is kind of cold and kind of like, I'm just doing my job and leaving. That's how Jeff was. And he was like, I don't like to be touched. Don't touch me. And we find out later, like, the reason for that. But I felt like that made him and Alan so, like, interesting. Because we know Alan has that nurturing, like, dad vibe with all the other guys. And he kind of was like, man, this one guy doesn't like me. That bothers me.
Yeah. But I also feel like, I know Jeff wasn't that type of character to really, like, take action a whole lot. Like, you weren't gonna see him fight nobody. You weren't gonna see him, like, pull out a gun or anything. He was kind of like the negotiator, but it also made him kind of the damsel in distress sometimes.
He was a damsel in distress like 4 times.
Yeah. And honestly, half of the times that he was put himself there, that got like, okay, bruh, like you're kind of making it more difficult for them because you're putting yourself closer to, like, that whole Tony group and all that stuff.
The last time, the last time he got kidnapped was the only time he didn't put himself in that situation. They went to that man's house and took him.
Yeah.
Like, it was like, okay. I think the only thing about that scene where we were both like, why'd you go outside alone? But then if you think about it, it's like, you're just at home. You're not thinking about that. Like, yeah.
Yeah.
I personally, Jeff and Alan were my favorite couple for this show. I was so excited when they got together, even though they kind of got together at a really weird time. I was kind of mourning other things, and then they were like, oh, we can make you happier by giving you Alan and Jeff. And I was like, okay,
they got
thanks.
together, like,
when everything was going wrong.
Everything was crashing and burning around, and all of a sudden Alan and Jeff became a couple. And I was just like, okay.
In the midst of chaos.
And in the midst of hell on earth. Here's your couple. Thanks, guys. You really know how to brighten my day. Like, so that was funny. But I think Alan is a character where he, like, it was just funny. Like he's the character that was like, don't make the wife mad. Like, every time Jeff was ignoring him or, like, disappeared, that man's world crashed. Like, he jumped in the pool because he was that stressed out about the fact that he couldn't figure out how to get Jeff to like him back. I was like, that's adorable. So, and they never really had an argument. Meanwhile, Charlie and Babe.
Oh my gosh. Don't even get me started.
Like, every time they would make up, something would happen, and then Babe would just be like, nope. And I'm like, bruh, can't keep living like this, man.
Yeah. It took a lot. Like, it takes a lot of mental, like, strength to deal with Babe in that first half of the season.
Yeah, and he didn't get much better.
Not really.
He got a little better, but he didn't get much better.
Yeah.
So, furthering, like, let's go into Babe. You didn't like Babe in the beginning.
I didn't, because I don't like cocky characters. Yeah. Well, I can't even say that. I don't like. I don't know. It's a specific type of cocky character. Like, you can be cocky and, like, you know, care for the people around you, which is not to say that he didn't, but he lashed out at his, like, a lot, and it was kind of, I would say, it had to have been draining for them, because, like, they've done nothing but, like, try to support the man in his dream. Like, he loved that, and he was, like, he got real prissy about it, and I was just like, you're annoying. And, like, don't even get me started whenever him or Charlie had an issue, because it was the same cycle, bro. It was like, something happened, and it was some misunderstanding. Babe got the wrong idea. I can't believe you do this. I thought you were different, but I guess not. But I'm Pitbabe, so I'm just gonna be alone now. I'm not gonna. You have to say I don't care. I don't care. So then, once that happens, that's the first step. And the second step is they separate. He separates from whoever he was mad at, and then he finds out either indirectly or from somebody else that it was in fact a misunderstanding, and yeah, you was tripping, bruh. And then he was like, well, dang, maybe I am tripping. And then something happens to them. He has a little crying scene, and back, like, oh, okay, everything's better now.
Yeah. I think Babe is another one of those complicated characters where it's like, he definitely has a problem with regulating his emotions, and he definitely is very impulsive. And maybe, like, him having all of his senses on 100 plays a part of that. And having, like, people out to get him constantly and kind of being on edge and like, he said it multiple times, like, he doesn't trust anyone. And then the one person he does trust tries to do something to him. So I feel like that only made it worse. And then, you know, his boyfriend fake died, then comes back, and it's just like, hey, what the hell?
I still have that screenshot.
Delete it. Don't send it to me. Don't. I will block you. So, Yeah, so I think like he never like I never disliked him, but he definitely was probably one of the most annoying characters, which is crazy because he's like the main character. But it was just like
Exactly.
he has so many moments where I was like, babe, why? Like just genuinely why? Like especially when he was like going up to Wei and being like, I know who the Enigma is. It's Pete. Oh. And like before that scene, he had been like he had found out that Pete was the Enigma and just like punched him.
Yep.
I was like, yo, it's too impulsive. Too impulsive. But I think like even though he was a very annoying and like impulsive character, I don't hate him. I don't dislike his character. I just think he needs therapy. And he
Yeah.
also was very unpredictable because of that. Like you never knew, is this going to be a day where he doesn't lash out or is this going to be a day where he's fine? Honestly, the only time where he wasn't lashing out is when Charlie died. That man became a deflated sunflower. We have two more characters that I wanted to talk about, and then I wanted to ask your least and fave out of all of them. But the last two characters, we'll start with Babe's dad.
He wasn't around for that much, so I'd have to say that. I mean, I feel like he definitely should not have gave Babe away, but at the same time, I don't think his dad had any powers, or it was never really alluded to that. So it's also at the same time like Tony could have easily manipulated into thinking like, oh, he's sick, when it was probably just like sensory overload from like his abilities.
Yeah.
But since it's like something that was constantly happening, he's like, oh man, he's sick. I don't know what to do. And they look like they weren't really that well off anyway. So it's probably in came Tony like, oh, you're sick, and my facility can look into him. And so I feel like he was kind of like, yes, it should not have been that bad. Like he should not have let him go, but he had his reasoning, and I feel like, I mean, he made up for it because he did. It was clear that he did still care about him. Like, I mean, he kept like everything that he did like in a scrapbook. He helped out Charlie, which in turn later led to him helping out Babe altogether. So I mean, I think that he was good. I mean, it can be argued whether or not like it could have been avoided or not, which I could have, but I understand why it didn't. But I don't. I mean, outside of the little screen time that he had, I don't think he was a bad character. I don't think he was a bad person either. Just a victim of like the whole thing with Tony and his shenanigans.
Yeah, I kind of agree. I clocked it very quickly that he had to be Babe's dad just cuz it was suspicious. It was suspicious, y'all. But I think he definitely got manipulated by Tony. I think it's one of those situations where it's like I don't understand like how you didn't know that you were like selling your kid essentially, but I think that like he did care about Babe and he didn't want what happened to Babe to happen to him. Like in the moment he was doing what he thought was like the best for his kid and it just was not actually what was the best for his kid.
Yeah.
But you know, like he had a nice cameo and they had a nice moment at the end where like they kind of talked it out and like Babe like forgave him a little bit. So that was nice to see, even though Randall kept making me laugh during a very serious scene.
Did I do that yet?
You do it all the time. It's just every single time it's a serious scene, and then I'm laughing because of you. It's okay, I guess.
Gotta pull you out of it. That's all.
No, let me simmer in my emotions. But the last and not least is the big man himself, Tony. So Tony is like human trafficking 101. He could teach a class on it. We find out he has murdered a lot of people, including children. He isolates all of his special kids, and I guess his goal is to train them to either be sold or to make money for him in the future. So that's what he did with Babe, Jeff, Charlie. I'm not exactly sure if he was aware of Charlie's power, but we know Jeff had ran away and he was looking for him. He was using Way to try to get Babe back and to try to make money off of Babe. Pete seems like he was like going along with him, but not really. And then like we all have like Kenta. I believe that's all of his sons that we have.
Yep.
Yeah, he in summary, he's a piece of shit.
To put it very simply, yes.
He's awful. And
Terrible person.
I think they should have shot him in the head.
Oh.
I'm telling you, they didn't shoot him in the head. He's probably alive. Because they didn't shoot him in the head.
That was a lot of blood that he lost, though.
I don't think it was enough. There's a lot of blood in people's bodies.
I mean, yes, but you don't have to lose all your blood to die.
He didn't lose enough. They need to shoot him in the head. Any villain, shoot that man in the head. And the way he died didn't look right either. So I'm just like, I don't believe it. I'm not going to feel secure and believe it until season 2's over. So,
yeah.
Good luck. And the funny thing is, I always say good luck, Charlie. And this show is literally good luck, Charlie.
Charlie's the bad guy in season 2.
That would be awful. If they like that would suck. Like, I know we're like debating on who's the bad guy. I really think it's a person we already know. I unless, because we have Milk, who's a new character in the cast that we saw that name on there. Unless he's the new bad guy, I really just don't know. So after this, y'all, we're gonna watch the trailer, and I'm so excited, but not at the same time. So that's fun. But Tony, I know his only motive was greed and audacity. Like, he really thought, like, at the end there, like, just come back to me, I'll let everyone else go, you can make money for me, you'll be so much happier. How? That makes no sense. Like, you're just talking out your ass.
Yeah, literally that.
Like, it doesn't make any sort of sense that me going to you after spending my entire life running away would make me happier. And you wanted Babe specifically to have kids just so that you could sell the kids too. Like, boy, get out my face. Like the Sinners movie.
Yep.
So, yeah.
See, now, I feel like Tony was low-key. I mean, it won't matter, I don't think. But low-key felt like Tony was... I feel like he was due for a backstory. Maybe. Because it's like, how did a man who has no abilities, no powers, develop the interest? Let me capture and sell kids with said powers. Let me have this whole organization that somehow respects me, even though I have no combat prowess, no nothing outside of money. And I've been fine all this time.
I'm just surprised no one shot him. No one likes shooting people in the head these days?
But even that, it's like... And then, like, I drew... When I was talking about Mother, on Heart Killers, it's like once Mother had captured everybody, I would have just killed them. I'm a hitman organization, and I have people who I have two deserters and two undercover cops. I'm killing all of you. Don't let me capture you because I'm killing all of you. But she
And
didn't.
even Tony
And
was
she,
in that situation. He closed it off and said
mm-hmm,
no one's leaving. And I
mm-hmm.
understand he was trying to save like Babe and the Enigmas or whatever so that he could like use them for money. Everyone else realistically he could have been like kill them.
Yeah.
So like I don't know. There was a lot of times where I was just like y'all hate shooting guns. Like I'm confused. But
But Tony really has he has nothing that really could make him credible to be able to do the things that he's done. Could you tell me that no kid has ever tried to fight back with the powers that they have against a man who has powers?
right.
You trying to tell me that none of the people who was working for him was like, yo, this is wrong?
I guess it
Like
goes back
nobody.
to how much will people do for money when it doesn't impact
But it's
them.
like, but it's not even like, but that job is not really secure because it's being run by a man trying to like illegally sell kids with with supernatural abilities, and they're
Yeah.
all regular people. That's not secure enough. Even I don't care how much it pays. It's not secure enough for me to be like, yeah, I do it. Not that I would consider doing it, but like there is no benefit outside of money, which is like money is. It can be a good starting point for convincing somebody, but I need a little bit more than that.
Yeah. I think all in all, it was a good show. I'm wondering what's gonna happen in season 2. I do hope that they use their abilities a little bit more with everyone. Um,
Right? Is it going to be more about racing or abilities for next season?
I definitely feel like it's gonna be more about abilities. I feel like the racing is gonna be as relevant as it was this season. That's just me. But
So
yeah,
basically, not at all. No.
so not at all. I'll go first. My favorite character I feel like is Jeff. And that's because I loved his progression with Alan. With like kind of being like standoffish, like don't touch me, to like him having this like cute relationship with Alan. And I also loved how concerned he was over Charlie, because Charlie was definitely putting himself all in all the dangerous situations, and Jeff was just going through all of the "that's so Raven" moments, being like, "Bro, you are going to die. Stop doing that." So yeah, I love Jeff so much. I feel like my least favorite is very obvious. I don't like Tony. Like if we want to talk about like, I feel like a lot of people might expect after episode 9 for me to say Wei. Wei would not do what he did if Tony didn't exist. So Tony, you are on that list as well. I know I didn't put your picture on the on-site list, but just know you're mentally there. So yeah, that's my thing. And I would rate the show a 7.5 for season 1. And the reason being is it was very slow to start, at least. And at times it was a little bit like, huh? What? Like jumping around and stuff. But it was a really good show. It was a really good concept. The characters were really fleshed out and were thought about very thoroughly. So I liked all of those elements, and that's why I said that.
I've been thinking. A favorite character. A favorite character for me. I don't know. It's. I feel like it's difficult to answer that. I was Loki. Favorite character. I might have to say. I might have to say Charlie. I feel like Charlie had, like, he was just kind of the guy, like, the fact that he was kind of just this unknown guy who, like, well, unknown to start off,
Mm-hmm.
who was coming to, like, basically try to fix, like, the situation. Everybody was kind of, like, even up in that fact. And, like, the thing, like, the lengths that he went in order to take down Tony was pretty good. Also, just, I mean, I just like the character. And hence why, well, I guess it's part of the reason why, like, whenever Babe was on some BS, I was really annoyed.
You're writing for your man.
Because, I mean, it was just nothing. It was just, like, they never, like, it was always a misunderstanding. It was never something that Charlie did.
Yeah.
It was always a misunderstanding. And you would think after maybe the first two, it'd be like, okay, maybe I'll listen and hear Charlie out. But no, it was the same reaction. Oh, hey, I'll grow up. But yeah. But I have to say, Charlie, I like his character dynamic in the story. My least favorite, I mean, I do not like Tony. But my least favorite was Kenta, to be quite real. Because his devotion to Tony was just so nails on a, irked my nerve, didn't like it, hated it.
Wow.
Because it wasn't even like, Tony didn't even try. He didn't even, like, okay, the thing about, like, some, like, abusive relationships is that the person who, like, the abuser usually would, like, flip things around, like, after either verbally, physically, whatever. They'd be like, you know, I love you, like, you know, like, you're my only son. Like, I'm doing all this because I care for you. Like, manipulation. Tony never did that. He never did that. He said, do this. Oh, you failed. You suck. You're worthless. I should get rid of you. What do I even have you here for? Blah, 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 blah. It was, and that was it. That was the end of the conversation. There was never I'm so sorry that I said that. You know that you're like my best man that I have. Ever. It was clear as day that this dude was being bad. Like, he was not good for you. And you stayed by him so too long. Way too long. Way too long. And granted, you did end up, I guess, killing him, quote unquote, by stabbing or whatever. But it took you too long to get there. Way too long to get their feet. Like, I was genuinely surprised. Like, I mean, once, like, he, like, got stabbed, I knew it could have only been Kenta, but I was still kind of surprised. Like, wow, you actually grew some balls and did it.
Yeah.
Like, it's about time. So, like, that whole, like, conflict that really should not have even been a conflict in the first place kind of annoyed me with Kenta, which I guess made him my least favorite personally. Even though, I mean, yes, Tony was horrible and he had what was coming. But Kenta was also like, bro, if you don't freaking stand up, put your foot down, do something. Like, you can't even call that people pleasing. Like, you're just, like, you're, I don't know what it is. Like, you must have liked that man. And I'm not talking about in a freaking, like, I'm talking about in a romantic way. Because there's, like, nothing could explain why he was there for that long. Nothing. He was a fully grown adult. He could have made his own decisions, stepped away from it. There was other people who was in similar situations who could have supported him. And, I mean, if he did leave, so it's like he would be alone. But still chose, no, I don't want to. Why? Literally, why? So his character annoyed the mess out of me.
Yeah.
Now, for rating, I give it I feel like an 8.5. I mean, I feel like it's a very solid show. I feel like it's probably the more fleshed out show, or BL, that I've seen personally so far. Like, all the characters kind of had their own, like, story arc. They had their reasons, for better or for worse, for doing the things that they did. So I feel like that was good. Something that gets me is when you make a show
seemingly about this one thing and then get into the show and it's actually not. Like there's a difference. Like some shows will be like, oh, I'm gonna advertise this as like a happy. Like the plot twist is the fact that it's not, because then that's the narrative. That's how they get you. That's how they pull you in. But like, not to say that like I wanted to see a show only about racing, but like considering that was like half of like their character and why they're to only see what 3 races. It's kind of like you really just left that by the wayside a little bit. But I feel like that's more of a personal opinion. Not really like that doesn't take down the value of the show as a whole. But that's just more of a personal gripe. But 8.5, I feel like is a solid, my solid rating of it.
Yeah. And I'll say, I think I need to raise my rating, only because I do rate every single show that I watch. So I have a list here. I'll try to remember. If you guys are not listening to this as a podcast, I will read it out and hopefully I'll remember in editing to put it up here. But I have Only Friends, 10 out of 10. I love that show, y'all. I love that show. I don't know what it is about that show. I love that show. I have The Heart Killers at a 9.5 out of 10. A lot of this is the vibe that I felt while I was watching the show. The Boy Next World, 7 out of 10. Choco Milkshake, 7 out of 10. Exclusive Fairy Tale, 9 out of 10. Love and Leashes, 9 out of 10. Call Me By Your Name, a 7.5 out of 10. Train to Busan, 10 out of 10. That is a great movie. Marry My Dead Body, a 7 out of 10. Sweet Home Season 1, 8 out of 10. And with our ratings, I put Pitbabe Season 1 at 8 out of 10. So, that is what we have there. And I'm wondering if Season 2 is going to be better or worse than Season 1.
It has the potential to be both.
Right.
To be either or. Yeah.
Right. I hope it's better for the sake of my mental health. Also, I feel like if it's better, though, my mental health is going to suffer while watching it. So, that's great. That's great. But yeah, I have Loreno here. Loreno, thanks you guys for listening to the podcast. Loreno got me through episode 13 of Pitbabe. And I hope you guys enjoyed our review. We had talked so much about the different scenes that happened. I think this is maybe the show that we talked during the episodes the most. So I felt like our review needed to focus on the individual characters because we didn't do that as much with the individual episode reviews. So thank you guys for listening to our Q review. And I hope to see you guys all for the Pitbabe Season 2 journey. Also, I just found a hole in Loreno. Loreno has a hole here. We gotta stitch him up. But yeah.
Put him back together.
Put him back together. Like my heart. But yeah, we'll see you guys next time. Bye, guys.
Bye.